What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Friday night's late night agenda. I hope you all have a cracking weekend ahead. We've got the Champions League final tomorrow night, of course, which I'll be doing a watch along of over on our other channel, Mundo Sporto. Also, we put up the 100k giveaway video today, i.e. the video where we celebrated hitting 100,000 subscribers by throwing a lot of prizes out there and hoping the people enter. So if you haven't yet seen it, the video is up. Went up at about 5 p.m. this evening. It's our end of season highlights and the 100k giveaway. And don't get excited, we're not giving away 100k. Hell, I've never seen 100k. But we're giving away a good few prizes. I hope you guys have entered. If you haven't done it already, as I said, the video did go up earlier on today. But look, the big news of today is that, as expected, Konate has been confirmed as a Liverpool player by the club. The fee is €36 million, and that's pretty much what we have on that so far. I mean, we knew it was happening, we knew it was coming. I told you guys a few weeks ago that it was going to be announced. I was starting to get a bit tetchy last night, I won't lie to you. I was thinking to myself, right, if this doesn't get done in the next day or two, then we're probably looking at after the Euros, the under 21 Euros, which of course he's taken part in with France. But thankfully, got up today and the news started to break, so happy days on that one. A lot of people are going to have a lot of questions around it. As always, if I can help out in any way, I will. If I've got anything that I can add to the conversation, I will. First question people are guessing is, what number will he wear? There was no squad announcement number today. You can probably guess that he may take number 5 if Gini Wijnaldum moves on, but yeah, that's what I would say is going to happen there. Great piece of business by the club, by the way. And look, let me just say hello to everybody before we get stuck into everything, because there's going to be a lot of stuff to go through, isn't there? I was watching the darts before I came on. I won't lie to you good folk, you know I love the darts. So I was watching that earlier on. Would I take Jerome Boateng? Absolutely not. He's pants. What else have we got? Somebody else said, please get Newland. No, he's having a break, mate. He's had a long L season, has El Newland. Right, what else? Somebody said that Real Madrid have announced, what's his face, Alaba. Yeah, that was always going to happen. We told you guys that ages ago. It's public knowledge that he was going to go and sign for Real Madrid. But welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. Ash, my man, welcome back. Great to have you. Craig, are you FSG out? Good question, Jaden. And look, I'm not going to hold back my opinions. I will answer that, Jaden, as the stream goes on. I promise you, you will be in no doubt where my mind is at the end of this stream. I can promise you that one. But I want to go through all the reports today, because of course we had James Pearce coming out and saying what James Pearce said, and I'll go through that in a few minutes as well. But look, first and foremost, don't let today's shine gloss be taken off it, because Liverpool have gone and signed a very good player, and we should be celebrating that as fans, and rightly so. It's a great addition to the squad, potential partner for Virgil van Dijk at the centre of the defence, very young, talented, strong, powerful player, great aerially, not the finished product, but hell, who is at 22 years of age with regards to being a centre back. So it's a good start to the summer, but you know, your mind does immediately go then to the news that started to come out afterwards, doesn't it? Where, you know, we're told, don't expect MBAPPE, don't expect SANCHO. We have to sell players before we add more players into the squad. And I've got to be honest with you, I love James Pearce. James Pearce is a really, really nice guy who is always fair and open, but I have to say, give us a day, Jimbo. Give us a day, pal, before you start telling us that we have to sell to buy after this one, because we should be enjoying this moment. We should be celebrating another addition to the Liverpool family, another great player in at the club, and not have it followed by but ... So, you know, I love Jimbo, I really do. He's one of my favourite journalists, but sometimes, you know, there's a time and a place, and just let us have today, James, please, mate. Just let us have today. We should try and get MBAPPE. We'll get on to all of that, don't worry. Ross said, hi Craig, love the vid for 100k. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ross. I hope you've entered. I won't tell you how to enter, by the way, because I don't want to give away. I want you to watch the video. All the prizes and information is at the start of the video, and then we tell you how you can enter. David Alaba, look, he's gone to Real Madrid on a very good wage, a wage that apparently we'd offered more. Now, if you believe that, I think you'll believe anything, because we've often spoken about the wage structure at the club, but if you look at the wages he's going to be getting at Real Madrid and the guarantee of, I think, what position he'll even play at Real Madrid, you know, it makes sense to me as to why we didn't sign David Alaba, as good of a utility player as he would have been, because he's a good footballer, David Alaba, no doubt about it. Do I want to sign De Paul? Right, I suppose let's go with that then. Let's go with the midfield situation. And I'll start off with what you guys probably already know. The news today that James Pearce believes that Liverpool aren't interested in Yves Bissouma. At least that's what's being put out there into the media. And then we have somebody like Fabrizio Romano, who believes Liverpool are absolutely interested in Yves Bissouma. Now, I don't claim to be a journalist. I do have friends who are journalists. And I'm fairly confident that we at least have an interest in Basuma. Now, I'm not saying we're signing him. I don't really ever go as far as to say that. Konate was a bit different because I had enough people that told me it was going to happen who I believed to say it was going to happen. But I disagree with Mr. Pearce on this one, humbly and respectfully. I believe that we do indeed have an interest in Basuma, as well as many other midfielders, and we should be monitoring maybe 4 or 5 midfielders. Now, what I want to get on to, ladies and gents, is this situation with the owners, because I'm not letting the signing of Konate gloss over everything that's happened, nor am I willing to just sit here and go, okay, we've signed Konate, now we have to sell to buy. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't wash with me. What we heard in the previous couple of months was that the deal with Red Bird or Red Ball? Anyway, the Jerry Cardinal investment in FSG, that 10% for £550 million that the owner sold off. We were told, were we not, that that was to cover, or some of that would be used to cover the losses of the pandemic, to put Liverpool back on the same financial footing that we were. Now, since then, we've gone on and achieved Champions League football again, which will no doubt be a boost to the coffers. And we've been fairly meagre in our expenditure over the past few years with regards to net spend. So, I'm sorry, it doesn't wash FSG. It doesn't wash for me, and it doesn't wash for many Liverpool fans around the world. We know we've cut our cloth accordingly. We get that. But I'm still going to go back to the same thing. None of us want to be sitting here at the end of this transfer window looking at Manchester City maybe signing Harry Kane, looking at, let's say, United maybe signing Jadon Sancho, and we're sitting here on our hands. Yes, Jurgen Klopp's a great coach. Yes, our recruitment team is fantastic. And yes, we have uncovered some great players for decent amounts of money. But at the same time, how many times do we have to hear LFC were keeping their cloth cut accordingly in case there was a generational talent that became available? I'm not know about you guys, but for me, this is the summer where generational talents are absolutely available. Yes, Mbappe's a bit far-fetched. Maybe Haaland's a bit far-fetched. But you can't tell me the likes of Jadon Sancho at 80 million quid isn't a price that we could afford to be at least at the table for. Nor can anybody tell me that Jadon Sancho wouldn't add to the calibre of forwards that we have at the club and give us another dimension to our attack, and maybe help us rotate and rest players, which will then of course allow us to go out and challenge in all the competitions we're in. I think that's not too much to ask for after net spends of 20 and 30 million quid a year over the past few years, when we've seen record deals with the likes of Nike and stuff, with the way we've got 35 million a season or 30 million a season plus 20% of sales, new commercial partners, sustained Champions League, finishing fairly high up the league table, and all the money that that brings in while still not having somebody on 200 grand a week or more. I don't understand it. I'm obviously an idiot because I can't see where all the money's going. I know we keep being told that we have a really high wage bill. I know we keep being told that we're broke, but where the fuck is the money? Genuinely, where is it? Because everything we read suggests Liverpool are closing the gap on Manchester United financially. Liverpool are closing the gap on Real Madrid. Liverpool are now worth X amount of money. Liverpool, yeah. Where's the money? Where is the money for Jurgen Klopp to go out there and really push on? Because look, we've got a great 3-4 years out of the players that we've had, and we've made some good additions as well, but I'm just sick of it already. I'm sick of, here's your good news, now here's some bad news. Now, you know, I'm fully hopeful and in the Fabrizio Romano camp that we're in for more transfers and that we will be seeing some more here we go as the summer goes on. But it's frustrating to be told over and over again, particularly when we're coming off the back of the Super League fiasco, where the owners tried to sell the soul of our football club and everything that we hold dear with regards to competitive football for a quick buck. Doesn't sit well. And I'm worried. I'm worried for the manager. We've seen little bits of frustration in him as the season went on this year, and nobody can tell me he didn't want to go out there and bring in at least one full-time centre-back in January. We brought in players who, Kabak, we're not going to keep. Davies, we haven't seen him play a minute of football yet. And it's not been great, but I don't want to be all negative. It's only the start of the transfer window, and we already have somebody in, so... You know, it's just a matter of what you want to believe out there in the media. Do you believe James Pearce that we're going to have to sell to buy and we're going to have to be a bit more careful about what we do? Or do you believe Fabrizio Romano and the like, who think that Liverpool are definitely in for Sancho, definitely in for Basuma? You know, I'm an optimist and I'm a transfer whore, so I like to believe that it's the latter. But, you know, over to you guys and see what you think on it. Do I think Dembele would be a good signing for Liverpool? Yes and no. I take a punt on him for the right money. If we're talking about Ousmane Dembele of Barcelona, then yeah, I take a punt on him for the money. And Barca are, not only are they in a bit of a mess financially, not only do they have the Super League stuff and potential expulsion from the Champions League hanging over their head, but they also have issues around their manager, who doesn't even know if he'll be back next season. His 1 year left on his contract, and nobody knows what's going to go on there. So I would say Barca will have to clear some people out, but I don't know who, to be honest with you. Nor have I seen any genuine links for Liverpool to Dembele. Somebody said all James Pearce does is waffle. Look, I like James Pearce. I'm not going to stick the knife in the lad's back. Any interactions or interviews I've had with James Pearce, I've always found him to be honest and open and forthcoming with any information he does have. But I've said this last night on the stream. What usually happens with these situations is, for the English-based journalists, you don't really get the breaking stories, but when the stories do come out, so the likes of Konate or any players that come in, then you'll see the likes of James Pearce give out a very detailed account of what has happened, how we got to this stage and what's expected. But the breaking news stories usually come from the European end with regards to Liverpool transfers, so it probably is worth keeping an eye on the likes of Fabrizio Romano and others around this transfer window rather than the English end, because people will point to the fact that we were told by the Echo, we were told by James Pearce, and a few others at times, that Liverpool had no interest in Thiago or Liverpool were unlikely to bring in X and Y, and that happens. And I'm not somebody that's going to sit here and start trashing journalists, because I know it's a difficult job that they have, and I know they work with some restraints on them as well, of course. Unlike most of us who can just jump onto Twitter and go, yeah, we're going to sign X, we're going to sign Y. They have to do due diligence, excuse me. Don't ask me about Coutinho again, folks, please. You know my answer to Coutinho, and you know my answer about Hazard as well. He's yeah, I'm not going to say it again. I don't want to get myself in any more trouble. Jonathan Konate is somebody that Mohammed's asked about, and somebody that we spoke about in last night's stream. Lille winger. He's been linked with a few clubs around Europe, actually. I look like I have a bit of egg on my face around this, because I kind of dismissed it last night as somebody who I don't think is all that good. But then I have to say, do you know what made me take notice of a Konate, and what made me sit up today and realise that maybe I'm completely in the wrong on this and I need to investigate more, is the fact that he's been now linked with as a replacement for Jadon Sancho at Dortmund. And Dortmund don't usually get these things too far wrong, do they? When they go to replace a young talent with another young talent, they usually get it right. So seeing a Konate linked to Dortmund kind of made me think, Jesus, you might have got this one wrong, Craig. You might need to readdress it. Ruben Neves or Aouar, completely different types of footballers, Russell, which I'm sure you know, dude. For me, Aouar, every day of the week. Neves is a talented footballer, could actually be on his way out of Porto, excuse me, I'm thinking way too far back, of Wolves this summer. Wolves look to free up a few quid for a squad rebuild, and they probably will move one or two players on, whether that's Neves, whether that's Adama, I don't know, but I would rather see a more front-footed midfielder, so somebody like Aouar, like you've mentioned, for me would be a much better fit. What gets me down a little bit as well, and I don't mean to run our players down because I want to be supportive of as many players that are at the club as I can, but when I see that Liverpool are willing to give opportunities to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita again, I get a bit of a feeling of Groundhog Day. Now, as I said, I'm sure they're lovely lads, I'm sure they're great around the dressing room, but all I can look at it is through the eyes of a fan. And I'm, like I'm sure you guys have, been very disappointed this season with the amount of times that we've needed these guys, not just them, but a few of the lads in the squad, and they're always fucking injured. And particularly around Naby, because he was given extra time to make sure that they got his recovery right, that they strengthened his core and they made sure that his body wasn't going to break down as much, and he couldn't even see out the end of the season without picking up another knock. And no player ever wants to be injured. So I'm not here to run these guys down because they're part of our club, but I think it's unfair to say that the plan is to keep them. I think everything should be on the table, and if an offer comes in for them, then explore it. I'm not saying we have to go actively trying to flog Chamberlain and Keita, but I think if an offer comes in, I think it should be explored. And we've seen the likes of Leicester City be linked with Naby Keita, and we've seen some clubs be linked with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Heck, I think Dortmund were linked to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain at one point, which I found very odd. But for me, look, if the right offer came in, I'd move either of them on at this point. I have to be honest. I'm fed up of carrying injured players throughout the season. And by injured players, I mean, you know who I'm talking about. The old reliables, the Shaqiris, the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlains, the Naby Keitas, the Joel Matips. They're just too injury prone. Great footballers, probably better off in another league where maybe the pace of the league's a bit slower, it's a bit less physical, some more time between games. And it's just frustrating. I mean, I'm sick of hearing the same things. X and Y will be like a new signing. Remember James Milner last year coming back was going to be like a new signing. Jordan Henderson now apparently is going to be like a new signing. Curtis Jones, we're being told, is the replacement for Gini Wijnaldum. No, fuck right off. He was the replacement for Adam Lallana when he was brought into the squad. Now we're being told that maybe Harvey Elliott is the replacement or the extra attacker. And look, I've kind of got no issue with that with Harvey Elliott, but I would say it's a lot of pressure to put on those young shoulders to expect Harvey Elliott to come in and impact the team like maybe a Jadon Sancho would, or Mohamed Salah has, or Sadio Mane has. And the biggest problem that I think we've had this season, ladies and gents, is the drop-off from our starting 11 to the players who have been in to supplement the starting 11. We've seen how it's affected us. The only anomaly there has kind of been the two centre-backs who've come in at the end of the season and done a cracking job to help us get over the line. But for me, if Joel Matip was somebody offered, even, I'll be honest here, if somebody offered 8 million quid for Joel Matip, I'd say sell him if you can sort out the wage issue. And that is another thing, by the way, because we have to remember that a lot of these guys are on pretty good wages because they've been part of a title winning squad and all played their part of a Champions League winning squad as well. So Liverpool have then upped their wages to reward them for a job well done. So the likes of Matip only signed last year. But what kind of gets worrying is when I sat here at the start of the video and I said, where's the money gone? Well, look at this summer as an example. Fabinho, Alisson, Van Dijk, Mane, Salah, and yes, that's all of them. Or Firmino. All apparently going to be renegotiated contracts. So how much money is that going to take up? Now, it's tough because you want them to be renegotiated and you want these lads to be rewarded with new contracts, and we want to keep Mane and we want to keep Salah and we want to keep all the strong spine of our squad. But at the same time, we don't want to keep hearing we're going to keep these lads, but that's going to stop us from being able to go out and strengthen elsewhere. And I've also seen some mad figures thrown around as to how much we could potentially bring in from sales from the likes of Origi, Shaqiri, Wilson, Grujic. We've been trying to sell these players for 18 months and we haven't been able to move them on. So all of a sudden this summer, I don't believe that we're going to get rid of all of them. We'll probably get rid of a few of them. I think Shaqiri will definitely go. I think Origi, if we can find a buyer at the money we want, which is apparently around 20 million quid. It's about 5 million quid too expensive in my eyes, but I'm not Michael Edwards. Thoughts on Çalhanoğlu? He's not good enough. I know he's a free transfer, but there's no such thing as a free transfer. He'll get a signing on fee and very good wages wherever he goes. I don't want that to be Liverpool because it just feels like papering over cracks to me if you bring in somebody like Çalhanoğlu who, you know, he's alright, fairly decent, but he's not going to change us. He's not going to push us on to win a Premier League title or a Champions League. And I don't know about you, but if Mohamed Salah goes off with 20 minutes to go and Çalhanoğlu comes on, I'm not going, oh yes, here's the fella that's going to come and bang us a couple of goals. It's just not for me. He's not good enough. Those Fringe players need to get what we can get for them and move them on. I kind of agree with you, Mark, because Mark Lilly just put that comment in, because we've seen before, particularly at Brendan Rodgers' time at Liverpool, when we kind of had to take a punt on a few players who we brought in, paid over the odds for and had on high wages and we couldn't get rid of, and we ended up loaning them until their contract ran down and then a few of them left on free. I don't want that to be the case now, but we may have to take a slight hit on transfer fees if we want to move some of these guys on. Do I think Konate will start over Gomez? I don't know, mate. I've got, it'd be unfair of me on Joe Gomez and Konate to start guessing, because we don't know how quickly we'll have Van Dijk back and we don't know what the rehab is going like. We don't know how tired Konate will be after the season and the under-21 Euros, and we don't know how quickly he'll settle. And I would suspect we'll start the season with Van Dijk and probably Gomez if he's fit, but that's not unusual. We've seen that with Jurgen Klopp a lot of the time, that he likes to gradually bring players into the fold rather than just throwing them in at the deep end. like he kind of had to do with Ozan Kabak there when we brought him from Schalke, because we were in a big mess with regards to centre backs. 3-5-2 formation, I like it. Or maybe a 3-4-3 formation. I'd like it, but I've not seen any media reports or anything to suggest that Klopp has that idea in mind. But we'll know soon enough when pre-season starts if we see a change in formation, or if we see Klopp maybe trying a few tactical tweaks. Would I take Emre Can back? No. Not because I've acting against Emre Can. I've said this numerous times. I've no problem with the way Emre Can left Liverpool. He's seen out his Liverpool contract, served his time here and moved on. That's all you can ask of a player when they sign up. So it's more because I don't think he's pushed on really since he's left, rather than I've acting against them. Tielemans or Bissouma? It's a difficult one, that. It depends what the manager wants. My gut instinct would be to say Tielemans, because I think he can give us something different going forward. But I also don't think we'll pay what it would take to get him out of Leicester City. I really don't. Now, I don't know if Tielemans is unhappy, as I said yesterday, about how Leicester City have missed out on the Champions League 2 seasons in a row. Winning the FA Cup is great, but these players want to be playing in the top division. They want to be playing in the top level of European football. And, you know, with regards to Leicester City, they haven't done that this season. So I don't know, but I don't expect us to go in for him. I mean, if we're already being told we're piss poor and we've got no money to spend, we're not going to pay a Premier League rival for one of their best players. It's I wish we would, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be sitting here and saying yes, but yeah, it's I don't think it'll happen, unfortunately. Do I think Tielemans is good enough? I'm on the fence. I'm not as pro Yuri Tielemans as other people are. I think I've seen some good and bad stuff from him, and I've seen some games where he's not done too much, but other people really, really like him, and maybe I'm in the minority here, but I think for the price point, there's better players to be had out there if you're talking 50 odd million quid, say. Ramsey to Liverpool, not going to happen 100%. Too injury prone. Didn't really excel over there at Juventus. Good player, Aaron Ramsey, on his day, but for me, no, too injury prone and not worth the risk. What is he, 28, 29 years of age now? What have we got? Because Klopp is getting the best in the squad, our owners won't spend money in comparison to other top 5 clubs. It's kind of a double-edged sword what you've said there, Minty, isn't it? And I agree with you. You know, Klopp's almost been a victim of his own success, as have Michael Edwards, as have Dave Fallows and the rest of the recruitment team. And you look at the amount of money that, let's say, United have wasted. I get where you're coming from. And it's annoying, and I wish I had something better to say on it, and I wish I had something more positive, but I'm as annoyed as you about it. I thought maybe after the embarrassment of the Super League and the way our owners absolutely fucked us all under a bus on that one, that maybe we'd see a little bit of I don't want to say an apologetic, because that's not the way that they work, but a bit of a relaxing of the old way because of the amount of high caliber footballers that are available this summer, particularly Sancho, whose price is down at least 20 something million from last year. Would I buy Cruz? No. No. We aren't going to go out there and start buying players around the 30 years of age bracket. It's not what we're going to do. Yes, there are anomalies at times if the right option becomes available, like Thiago as an example, but we have Thiago, so no, we won't be going out and signing Toni Kroos. Let him rot there in Real Madrid with the rest of them. The Paul Bissouma or a Kone? Probably. I have a feeling the Paul's going to end up at AC Milan. I do. What else is there? Grujic is better than Fabinho. Fuck off, dickhead. Honestly, just fuck off. Why do I have to deal with this level of bullshit? Honestly, mate, fuck off. He's not better than Fabinho. If he was better than Fabinho, he'd be at Liverpool Football Club and not playing for Porto for the second year in a row. Jesus Christ. Oh. What else is there? What position we invest in? Right back? No, we're not going to invest in a right back. We're not going to invest in a full back this summer at all. The club are happy with the options that they have there for Nico Williams, and they're expecting Kostas Tsimikas to be a lot more involved next season. So no, nothing on the full backs. We've got the centre back in. Midfield and attacker are the 2 positions now, and then we'll see what happens around the goalkeeper situation, because as much as it pains me to say this, it looks as though the club want to keep Adrian here for another season. Now, Adrian is apparently weighing up his options, which, God, I find embarrassing. I really do. I mean, surely to God we can go out there and get a better backup keeper for even a year. Now, maybe the plan is just to keep Adrian for a year and loan out Caoimhín Kelleher in the hope that Caoimhín will then come back and challenge after a year out on loan playing regular football, which is good. But Adrian is also Adrian. So, you know, let's see what happens there. Apparently the ball's in his court. Craig, if you win the giveaway, do you have to give your address? No, mate, we'll just send it up in fucking osmosis. We'll just put the prize into liquid and it'll just make its way to you, mate. You just put your address in a bottle and throw it into the water and we'll find you. Of course you've got to give your address, pal. Oh. Is there any non-window liquor based questions that we can go through? I don't know. I swear people try and wind me up sometimes. I'm too old for this, folks. Stop asking silly questions. Of course you've got to give your address, unless you don't want the prizes, in which case you can give me someone else's address and we'll send them over there. Would I take Joaquin Correa? No, I wouldn't. Fabian Ruiz? No, again, I don't think we'll be in for him. Look, I'll be honest, I want us to go out and sign an attacking midfielder. Yeah, I'd rather see us go out there and get the likes of a Houssem Aouar, because that's what I think we need. You know, at times this season, we've lacked some creativity from midfield. And you know what we've really lacked from midfield? Goals and assists. Because this season, they just haven't been enough of them. I think Milner, one of the few this season, if I remember, with an assist, which I think was from a corner. Ivan Toney, I think it's fair to say that the Ivan Toney situation will be resolved after Brentford's playoff against Swansea. You know, if Brentford come up, I'm sure Ivan Toney will probably come up with Brentford to the Premier League and see how he gets on. If they don't come up, then maybe somebody will take a punt on him. I think somebody should take a punt on him. You don't go and break the Championship goal scoring record without having something about you. Now, I don't think that'll be Liverpool personally. Again, just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, 1, please take a second and hit that subscribe button, but 2, get over to the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel, which obviously you're already on, Dopey. So after this video's over, we put up the 100k giveaway video earlier on, and by 100k I mean we hit 100k and we're giving away a load of stuff. What are we giving away? A £250 Amazon voucher, your choice of any shirt from 3retro.com. We're also giving away a Manscaped 3.0 Perfect package set from manscaped.com. Don't forget, if you are on manscaped.com, use the code WFM20 for 20% off. We're giving away your choice of Liverpool shirt this season as well, and also a set of Samsung Live earbuds. Yes, it's a pretty good prize package, I have to say, in and around £1,000 worth. And we're also giving away a second and a third prize of a £50 Amazon gift card. So to be in with a chance to win all of those, you have to go over and watch the Anfield Agenda end of season review video, and it tells you how to go about entering and stuff like that. I'll announce the winner on June the 1st on a live stream as well. And look, it's just our little way of saying a massive thank you to all of you for your fantastic support over the past 3 years, for helping us get to somewhere we never thought we'd be, and for giving me some of the best moments of my life. I've really, really enjoyed it. So we wanted to just say thank you to you guys. Origi is better than Firmino, changed my mind. I don't have to, mate. You're clearly a fucking idiot. So nothing I can say is going to save you from being an idiot there, buddy. So you just go ahead. I'll tell you what you should do. You should buy 4 Origi shirts this summer, mate. Make sure you get Origi on the back of them all, because they're definitely going to be worth a fortune by the time the season starts. Fekir, no, he'll be staying put. I think at Real Betis. What else have we got? Karius. Yeah, he's on the for sale list, and apparently about 3 million quid is what it would take to get Karius to fuck off, basically. He's not back up, he's back out, is what's going to happen with Karius. If somebody can give us 3 million quid, Karius gone bye-bye. Thoughts on Gini leaving Liverpool? I'm sad about it. I am. I like Gini Wijnaldum. I thought that he was a great servant to the club, and I thought that he should have been offered a 3-year contract. I really don't understand why he wasn't, because sometimes you look at a player and think, alright, they're losing a yard of pace, but Gini Wijnaldum played consistently for Liverpool, always available. Yeah, it sticks in my throat a little bit, I have to say, when we've been rewarding players with contracts, improved contracts, and you hear that Gini Wijnaldum's on a relatively modest wage compared to some of the other players at the club, particularly considering what how much of an impact he's had in their success. I didn't think it was a great move by the club. I thought, if you're going to relax the 3 year thing, they usually just like to give 2 year contracts or so out for players over the age of 30. I would have given it to Genie. I really do. I think he would have saved us a few quid in the market. Saint-Maximin, I think that's just a fan thing. Serious, I don't think anybody has linked us to Alan Saint-Maximin anyway. Haaland or Mbappe, they won't be going to Liverpool, mate, by the looks of it, so I don't know what the question is. Other than that, I can say that it doesn't look like they're coming. Honest opinion, who will we sign? I think somebody of the 30 to 40 million pound midfield bracket is probably most likely, whether that's an Aouar, a Basuma, a DePaul, I don't know. And then I'd say even similar again for a forward. I don't think we're gonna spend much more than 30 to 40 million quid on a wide player or a number 9. By number 9 I mean a striker, if we do go out and do business. Now we'll wait and see what happens, because all the news out there today is that to sell to buy summer again, which infuriates me, and I'm sure it infuriates you as well. Minamino thoughts. He's on the list of players who are apparently willing to be sold as well, Ash, and I think the asking price for Takumi from what's been put out there in the media is about 10 million quid. Hakimi, I've not seen anything around Hakimi. Ali, now that's not to say you mightn't see something, buddy. It's just saying that I haven't seen it. Opinions on Konate. I'm very, very happy with Konate. He's not the finished article, but he has a big physical presence. He's great in the air. He's got pace, so he can certainly play the high line that we play with. But he is a bit suspect in his passing, particularly his 10 to 15 yard passing. But that can be improved upon. But he's very good at stepping out with the ball and moving forward. So there are a lot of attributes to his game that will be certainly helped by playing alongside Big Verge. And look, whether it's him or Gomez, I don't know. I would suspect it'll probably be Gomez if he's fit at the start of the season because of that familiarity. But, it's a great addition to the team, and I'm over the moon that we're signing Ibrahima Konate. And I like the way that the club admin actually put the post up as well of him in the jacket. I thought that was quite clever. Thoughts on Buendia from Norwich? He's a very good footballer. I'm actually surprised that he's still at Norwich, to be honest with you. Emiliano Buendia is a very good footballer. I don't know if he'll move. Norwich coming back up maybe suggests that he won't, but he's a good footballer, definitely. Traore and Neto, they're Premier League proven. I would stay away from Adama Traore because he's had 5 or 6 dislocated right shoulders. I think it's his right shoulder. I know he's had 5 or 6 dislocated shoulders over the past 2 years, which is why you see him putting the baby oil and stuff on. It's not just to stop him being grabbed and dragged to the ground, it's to stop him picking up injuries. Because I think twice alone in the last season that shoulders come out and had to be popped back in. Neto, it's gone quiet on Neto. We had been linked with him. I was quite excited by the Neto stuff because he's got that bit of fight about him, that bit of fire. There's just something about him that I like, apart from obviously his quality as a footballer. Neil Maupay is nowhere near good enough for Liverpool Football Club, mate. Nowhere near good enough. Brighton's big problem this season was scoring goals, and Maupay was one of the better people at the club on that front, but still just bang average. Thoughts on Mertens? What is he now, 50? Dries Mertens? He has to be at least 36 or 37. Great career, good player, good servant to Napoli, great for Belgium, but don't want him at Liverpool. We've got enough players that are causing us concerns with ageing and injuries and stuff. Rafinha's not coming to Liverpool. He's come out and said that much himself. He's going to stay at Leeds for another season, I'd say, minimum. And maybe, he's waiting to see what his manager does there, but yeah, he won't be coming to Liverpool, mate, unless something changes very drastically. Coop Miner, don't know. I don't know some of these names that are in the chat, by the way. So excuse me if I don't answer you. It's not because I'm ignoring your comment. It's because I genuinely don't have anything that I can contribute to some of these names. Patson Daka to replace Firmino. 1, Bobby's not going anywhere. And 2, as I've said before, the plan for Jesse Marsch is to take him from Salzburg to Leipzig when he takes over from Julian Nagelsmann. That's the plan from what I've read. But, if the right offer goes in, Red Bull are a selling club. So Camavinga, I've seen linked to PSG, Brooklyn. Great talented midfielder, young French. I'm not sure if he's a full international yet, but I know Didier Deschamps has been speaking really highly of him. And I won't lie and say I've watched a lot of him, but every major club in Europe has been keeping tabs on him. And I think potentially maybe a move to Paris Saint-Germain. Craig, would I have taken a prime Deco at Liverpool? Yeah, I love Deco. I did. I enjoyed his time at Barcelona as well. Obviously, he started with Porto there and went on to Barca. But yes, I would have taken Deco. I really enjoyed him as a footballer. Jonathan David. There have been some links, Kyle. I don't think he's good enough. I've actually paid a little bit of attention over the past month, particularly to the race in League 1 for that championship. Kind of because of Yilmaz. I like the fact that Yilmaz has gone to Lille and won the league with them and scored some important goals. But watching that and then, of course, keeping a bit of an eye on Renato Sanchez, who'd been linked with Liverpool at some points, I've got to see Jonathan David a bit. And I haven't been impressed with what I've seen. He's got something about him, but I just don't think it's enough to justify us going for him. Now, I have to say, as I admitted earlier on, I missed Konate completely when I've been watching those games. I haven't paid any attention to him, who was, of course, linked to us yesterday for around the 25 million mark. Man City will offer 100 million for Grealish. Thoughts? They won't. Not if they're going to go after Harry Kane. They just won't have... Well, I say they won't have the money, but I think you know what I mean by that. It wouldn't look like they're playing by the rules with regards to being able to maybe spend 250 million in one summer on, Harry Kane and Jack Grealish. But if Jack Grealish was to go, probably, I might say a little bit less than that, but I would say a very significant amount of money. And I'd have Grealish. I would definitely have Grealish. But like I said about Tielemans earlier on, I'd be flabbergasted if we go to a Premier League rival and pay top dollar for somebody like that. And it is a shame, because I think Grealish would probably like to come out and play at Liverpool as well. Are we linked with Basuma? I would say yes. James Pearce would say no. Fabrizio Romano would say yes. I think yes. That's my honest opinion, is that we certainly have an interest in Is Basuma. I don't want to call anybody else right or wrong. It's just my opinion. What about Aouar? Again, Arsenal might come back to the table for Houssem Aouar. It looks like Xhaka has been linked with a move away from Arsenal as well. Can't remember for the life of me where to. I just kind of gloss over. Once I see his name, I kind of zone out a little bit. But Arsenal are going to try bring Odegaard in if they can. And they did look at the possibility of Houssem Aouar. So if that doesn't work out, maybe they'll go back in. Thoughts about Dybala as a replacement for Gini? You do know where they both play and how they both play, right? Dybala is not coming to Liverpool. I'd say I don't know how Allegri going back to Juventus will impact Dybala, but it's just one of those lazy rumours that's put out there. Along with Insigne, I'd put that in the never going to happen pile. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I like him as a footballer, but it's not going to happen. Not to Liverpool. Sancho to United for 80 million. Look, how do I say this without being an arsehole? And not to you, David, sorry, I mean just in general. United want Sancho. I think Sancho would be open to United. But will United's owners pony up the dough to spend 80 million quid on Sancho? Now, they had agreed wages with him and his representative previously. I'm sure length of contract wouldn't be an issue. It's just a matter of, will United's board get their finger out and try and get the transfer done, or will somebody else get a steal a march on them? And I hope we steal a march on them, because I love Jadon Sancho. Thoughts on Griezmann? See, when somebody asks me that, I always go to my personal preference on them as a person as well, and he seems like an arsehole. I have to be honest with you. If a Liverpool player did to us what he did to the Atleti fans when he was making his fucking documentary about where he goes or stays, and then says that he's staying at the end of it and then fucks off the year after, not for me. But I did like Griezmann when he was breaking through, when he was playing with who's the other guy that he used to play with, the other French guy at Atleti, when he was coming through. I always forget this dude's name. Gamero, was it? Yeah, Kevin Gamero. When he was coming through with him at Atleti, I thought that he was really good, and I thought that he would have actually fit into our system with the way he played. But Yeah, not for me now, no. But he might be on the way out of Barca. That is possible. I think he's available for about 50 million if you're to believe, again, what's been put out in the media. Is Konate signed? Yes, he is. What happens if he gets injured? Well, he gets injured on international duty. It's a little bit different to if he got injured with Leipzig, as an example. So, yes, he is a Liverpool player. It's done and dusted. Lamar, no, not really done much since he's gone to Atleti. Had a bit of a bit part over there. Is Ollie Watkins good enough for Liverpool? You know what? I think he is, I think he is. I don't think we'll sign him, but if you look at the type of player that we usually have on our forward line, with the work rate that Ollie Watkins has, with how good he can press, with his intelligent runs, with his pace, I actually think I would take Ollie Watkins at Liverpool. I would. Now, it's not going to happen, but I would. Lautaro Martinez it's no secret that Inter Milan need to move on players this summer. Antonio Conte left because they have to, I think, free up about 70 million quid's worth of talent, and obviously he wasn't best pleased with that, so he walked, and I think one of their big players will walk. Now, whether that's Romelu Lukaku, whether that's Lautaro Martinez, or maybe we go and put a cheeky bid in for Nicola Barella, I think they are going to lose one, if not two players there this summer, so it's a good shout, but I don't know where he may end up. Sabitzer, again, somebody who looks like they want to engineer a move out of Leipzig. You've seen his agent fairly active, linking him to all different types of clubs. Nobody that I know from the English side or the European side believes that there's anything to Liverpool being interested in Sabitzer. But, then again, as I've always said, nobody had a clue on Diogo Jota and nobody had a clue on Fabinho either. Are we interested in Tielemans? Look, to say we're interested in somebody, yes, I would say Tielemans is certainly on Klopp's radar, but whether that interest turns into an approach to his representatives or an offer, I doubt it. But certainly Liverpool will be aware of Tielemans and how much he's progressed since he's gone to Leicester from, I think it was Anderlecht, if my memory's right. I think it was someone in the Belgian league anyway. Do you think we dodged a bullet by selling Brewster? Really, really difficult to know. I had very high hopes for Ian Brewster, and I think, some of it has to be put down to the lad himself, and I know Ian's dad obviously is well being documented. We've had him on the channel a few times, and Ian's a lovely guy, but it just didn't work at Sheffield United for whatever reason. I don't know what goes on at training there, so I can't say. But it didn't work out there, and now we look back on it, it seems like a pretty odd move for him, doesn't it? Because, at Swansea with Cooper, I could understand the move because they'd worked together with England underage levels, and he knows how to get the best out of Rian, as he showed when Rian won the Golden Boot and stuff as well. I think it was the under 18 or under 16 World Cup or 17 World Cup. So I just think it was the wrong move. It'll be interesting to see what happens next with Rian. I don't think we'll be taking up the buyback clause option, but I certainly think he's better than he showed at Sheffield United. Do you think we'll sell Nat or keep? I think sell if the right offer comes in. Now, we've got to look at this two ways, by the way, with regards to Nat Phillips. We all admire Nat for what he did, but at the same time, at 24 years of age, having had the amount of loans and stuff that he had, will he want to stay at Liverpool and know that he's behind Konate, Gomez, Van Dijk and Matip? So he's fifth choice, essentially, with what's here already. And I don't think that's fair to the guy. I think he's done enough to go and deserve to play regular football at a high level. So I think if the right offer comes in, Nat Phillips will be moved on. And I think it's best for him, because it's selfish to just want to keep him as a fifth choice centre back. He deserves to go and play. He's been on loan at Stuttgart, and he was nearly moved out in January, so he's done his career no harm whatsoever. And I think if the Bolton Baresi does move on, then best of luck to him wherever he goes, and he'll always be fondly remembered by us lot because of because he'd hit a brick wall, wouldn't he? Do I think Pau Torres will go to United? I think Pau Torres is a decent centre back. I was saying this months ago when we were looking at our centre back situation, and it wasn't really mentioned much in the media of any interest in Pau Torres. But I've always liked him. Some thoughts that he could be a little bit lightweight, but there's a very good centre back there that I think somebody can get for a reasonable fee. We should avoid AFCON players. I get where you're coming from. I mean, we know already that we've got Mane, we've got Mohamed Salah, Naby Keita all losing to the AFCON. And if we were to bring in another one like Basuma, who I guess you're probably talking about there, I see where you're coming from. But why the fuck did they move that tournament, by the way? They had it back in the summer and then all of a sudden they moved it back to January. Obviously, I know why, but I'm just frustrated by it. Neuhaus, really quiet, Vigani. Really, really quiet on Neuhaus from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Nothing whatsoever new for me. Valverde, no, not going to happen. Thoughts on Madrid buying Alaba? Again, it was known. It was, I think it was reported about a month ago that the story goes, and I don't know how true this is, that Liverpool offered him more money. I don't believe that for 1 second, but that's the story, and he chose Real Madrid because of wanting to play in La Liga, which was known, to be fair, and because I think he's going to get to play in his preferred position, which seems to be midfield. We need a backup right back for Trent. The club don't believe so, Bob. I'm not saying you're wrong, mate, and I don't know how Nico Williams will develop, but the club are certainly happy with having Nico Williams as a backup option to Trent, and have no plans to go out and buy a right back. Mateus Pereira, Rafinha or Sam Maximin as winger backups. I take either of the latter two. Pereira, for me, some moments of brilliance and there's definite talent there, but I don't know, maybe he's that bargain that you could get from a relegated club. Neto, gone quiet, not seen anything, David, on Neto recently, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's nothing there just because it's gone quiet. Sometimes gone quiet can be a good thing, particularly if they're not being linked with other clubs, so keep that in mind as well when you're looking at the transfer window. How did Gomez get injured during England training? Dame, I wasn't there, mate. I mean, we've all heard rumours and leaks and stuff and bits and pieces, but at the end of the day, the only people that know that are the England players, the England manager and Joe Gomez. I really don't know what happened. Opinions on Kabak. I would have signed him. I would. I know it's still taking a punt because we didn't get a clear sign that Kabak would have been a bargain, but we'd seen bits and pieces of him, and again at 21 years of age for 18 million quid, somebody who really wanted to stay. I got a bit of a vibe of Dejan Lovren off him with regards to how much he wanted to be at the club. And I feel a little bit sorry for him that he got that injury, a couple of injuries, and didn't really get to have a good end to the season. So the club have informed him that they won't be taking up the option and he will be going back to Schalke, who may then sell him on to Leipzig or elsewhere. Ansu Fati will remain at Barcelona. Josiah, great talented young player. Didn't get as many opportunities towards the end of the season. I think he may have had an injury if my memory's right, but certainly somebody who Barcelona high and hold this. Anybody who comes through at La Masia, you can pretty much guarantee that it will take a fair bit for them to move on. Loan or keep Harvey Elliott? I suppose the answer to that, Shane, will come in what we do in the market. So if we don't bring somebody in, you have to keep Harvey Elliott at the club. If the club do go out and bring somebody in, then maybe Harvey Elliott will get a loan to a Premier League club. But either way, I think this is the last year we'll have any doubt about what happens with Harvey Elliott, because if he does go out on loan, that'll be it. He'll be back at Liverpool after that. I've done Griezmann, I've done Camavinga. Simicas keep or sell? Well, it's hard to know. We haven't seen much of him. He's going to be kept, but I don't know if that's the right or wrong decision, because we've seen very little of Costa Simicas because of COVID, because of injury, and because Robbo was a goddamn machine. Would I play three at the back? To play three at the back, David, I'd want 5 good quality centre-backs. But yeah, can you imagine? I mean, let's just play fantasy football for a second here and say Konate, Gomez and Van Dijk are all fit. Definitely there's a scope there to play three at the back. You've got Robbo and Trent as wing-backs, 2 central holding midfielders and then 3 attackers. I mean, we've seen with Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea how the system can be deployed and deployed well if you've got the right personnel and it's about having the right personnel, but we've seen nothing to suggest Klopp will go that way yet. But maybe in pre-season, as I said earlier on. What do I think of Virgil? I love him, and I love him some more. Right, look, ladies and gents, I'm going to head off, but don't forget, get over and enter into the competition for the giveaway. We're giving away a £250 Amazon voucher, a Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0 set with thanks to manscaped.com. Don't forget to use the code WFM20 for 20% off if you go to manscaped.com. Any shirt you want from 3retro.com. Your choice of any of the Liverpool shirts for the upcoming season. And we're also going to chuck in a pair of Samsung Live Buds as well. All the information on how you can enter the competition is on the end of season review Best Bits video, which went up at 5 p.m. today. I don't want any of you to miss out on it, so please go over and enter in. Watch the start of the video. It will explain everything for you, and we're going to run that competition right through till June the 1st. There's also a second prize and a third prize of a £50 Amazon gift card as well, so if you don't get the major bundle of prizes, there's a couple more there as well. So again, it's just a thank you from us to you for your amazing support. You guys are making our dreams come true, and we want to just give a little bit back as always. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be live tomorrow for a watch along of the Champions League final over in Mundo Sporto, and I won't be back on Anfield Agenda until Monday because I'm taking Sunday off to spend the day just sitting around doing nothing. But look, love to you all. Have a cracking weekend, and don't miss out on the competition. Get straight over there now. The 100k giveaway link is pinned to the top of the live chat, ladies and gents, so you can click on that and it'll bring you straight over to the video. Thank you very much to you guys. Thank you to Connor for all of his hard work throughout the season as well. Have a crack